Fans felt this oddity. Jungkook looked almost too perfect at the Hublot event. Hello ARMY. Welcome back to the K-pop Idol channel. There are certain nights that seem ordinary at first glance. No major announcements. No suspicious teasers. No sign that something memorable is about to happen. And yet, it is often on nights like these that something quietly changes the way we see an idol. That night, it happened at a luxury brand event called Hublot. The room was filled with warm lighting. Luxury watches reflected softly beneath crystal lamps. Guests spoke in low voices, laughed politely, and moved with controlled elegance. Everything felt polished. Too neat. Too carefully arranged. Until one figure stepped inside. And from that moment on, the rhythm of the room shifted. When Jungkook appeared, there were no loud cheers, no gasps, no dramatic reactions. But something far more powerful occurred. A brief silence. Not because people didn't know how to react, but because their eyes instinctively were drawn to the same point. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Jungkook looked refined, elegant, calm, just as we had seen many times before. But the longer the cameras lingered, the longer we observed the way he stood, the way he turned his head, the way he listened to others. A strange feeling began to surface. A feeling that he wasn't trying to be anything at all. And that was where the oddity began. In a world that constantly demands idols to be more, Jungkook showed up with a simplicity that quietly pressed against the entire room. He didn't dominate the space with his voice. He didn't draw attention with grand gestures. Yet somehow, the room adjusted itself around him. Every step he took was steady, unrushed, unhesitating. He didn't look nervous, but he didn't look arrogant either. Standing among major figures from fashion and business, he never once seemed out of place. And that was when many fans began to sense something unusual. Why does Jungkook feel different? He looks more mature. Why does his aura feel heavy, yet calming? Comments like these began to appear everywhere. Yet no one could truly explain what they meant. Because what people were feeling had nothing to do with visuals. It was about energy. The energy of someone who has lived under the spotlight for a long time. Someone who has known praise and criticism in equally painful measure. The energy of someone who no longer feels the need to prove himself to the world. At that event, Jungkook didn't look like an idol who was simply representing a brand. He looked like someone chosen because his presence alone already carried meaning. He listened attentively, maintained eye contact without being distracted by cameras, offered small smiles that never felt forced. Every gesture felt genuine. And perhaps that was what made his perfection feel strange. Because this perfection didn't feel polished. It didn't feel trained. It didn't feel displayed. We are used to a loud kind of perfection. One that demands recognition. But that night, Jungkook showed a quiet perfection. A perfection that required no validation. A perfection shaped by a long journey. That was not always beautiful. When the camera captured his expression, there were no exaggerated emotions. But beneath the calm, there was depth. As if every silent moment held a story. Stories of endless training. Of loneliness at the top. Of the weight of a famous name. Of responsibilities that are never light. And perhaps fans felt that oddity because they realized something difficult to accept. That Jungkook was no longer on his way. He had already arrived. Yet what surprised everyone was this. He didn't look like he wanted to stay there. There was no excessive satisfaction on his face. No sense of, this is enough. Only the calm of someone who knows who he is and is no longer rushing anywhere. Amid the luxury and glamour, Jungkook didn't fade away. But he didn't overshadow others either. He stood as an equal. And that is a form of strength rarely seen. That night, there was no manufactured viral moment. No sensational headline. And precisely because of that, the event stayed with people. Because we witnessed something rarer than spectacle. We witnessed maturity without noise. And maybe that is why fans felt something was off. Because Jungkook at the Hublot event looked almost too perfect. Not because he lacks flaws, but because he has grown beyond the need to prove anything at all. Thank you for watching K-pop Idol. And as always, we will continue to observe the smallest details. Because sometimes, the most powerful moments don't come from grand surprises, but from someone who stands quietly and makes the world pause just for a moment without even trying.